Hey y'all, welcome to Back to Basics with Krystal. So I'm in a very comfortable greenhouse today, working on my potatoes while it's very cold and windy out there. It gets so windy at times that I can't hear myself think, and the whole greenhouse shakes. Well, what are you gonna do? So, what exactly am I doing? Well, I've got to get these potatoes ready to go into the ground. Now this next week, we have got an entire week of rain. More rain. Yay! So what exactly am I doing to my potatoes? Well, I'm going to cut them and get them ready to go out into the garden after next week. Now we have an entire week of rain. It is supposed to rain every single day, and we're not talking a 10 to 20% chance. They're calling for a 70, 80, 90% chance of rain every single day this coming week. So while we're waiting on the rain to kind of pass by and hope and pray that we don't get so much that it floods out the area that I want to put the potatoes in. So I'm going to cut these potatoes and let them start to scab over. So why am I cutting the potatoes? When we all know, or maybe you don't know, I do practice the Ruth Stout method of gardening. Now Ruth had a philosophy about potatoes, about everything. She didn't do any extra work if she didn't have to. She would literally take her potatoes whole like this, after the winter when it was time to plant them into the ground, and she would just toss them onto the ground and then cover them up with hay. Because if she didn't cover them up with hay, well, they would dry out. And that's Mikey you hear out there. She's throwing a hissy fit. She's absolutely throwing a hissy fit because I kicked her out. Why did I kick her out? Because she bit my pinky and drew blood. So, she got kicked out. And she's not happy about it. Oh well, shouldn't have bit me. So anyway, Paul, with the Back to Eden method, also prefers to plant his potatoes whole in the ground. Actually, he harvests and then plants all at the same time. And he always plants his biggest potato because he goes by the philosophy, you're going to use the best seed because you're going to get the best product from that seed. So this year I'm going to cut them rather than planting them whole. Next year we're going to plant them whole, and then we're going to wait to see which method worked better for us. Now I did learn the hard way last year, and I actually had to rescue some of my seed potatoes from the mouths of chickens. And then I had to dig a hole about 2 inches deep, plant them into my soil in the garden, then pile hay on top. Since I'll have a fence going in, my garden should be a little bit more protected from the chickens, but just in case, I'm going to go ahead and dig a 2-inch hole and then plant this potato, put the 2 inches of dirt on top, and then cover it up with hay. So that'll be about 4, 5, 6 inches that the potatoes will be planted down. I think that is going to save the headache of the chickens getting into them because, they can fly. They're going to fly over the fence if they want to, right? So after potatoes today, we're going to work on our tomato seeds. So in case you didn't know, a potato is actually a tuber. It's not a true seed. Now, some potato plants do produce a seed, or they call it a potato berry, and it actually resembles an eggplant or a green tomato. Why is that? Because potatoes, tomatoes, peppers, eggplants are all from the same family, the nightshade family. So in essence, they're all cousins. Just a little fun fact for you there. So the potato seed actually contains the true seed of that particular potato plant, and is actually how they produce new potato varieties. So let's say in your garden you have a red potato next to a pure purple potato, and they both bloom at the same time, and you get the little pollinator bees come through and the wind come through and they cross-pollinate. You have then created a new variety of potato. But because most of us grow potatoes from tubers, we'll never actually grow that true potato from that plant with the cross-pollination. Kind of cool, right? It takes a couple of years after you get the seeds for you to actually get a pretty good crop. I do have some seeds from a purple plant last year. We may play around with that a little bit this year, but I'm out of space in my garden, so we'll see. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be cutting the eyes out of this. Now, I'm not going to, some people will do a very drastic cut. My daddy was one of them. I think they say that you need at least 2 ounces of potato to the eye. I'm not going to be doing that drastic of a cut. Here is one of my cuts. Dirty. So you see I have got, in this potato, I've got 2 eyes. So I've got 1 eye there and 1 eye there. And a lot of potato. So I'm not going to do that drastic of a cut. After all, I still adhere to, you put the biggest and the best into the ground, and you're going to get the biggest and the best of that plant. So basically you're going to look at your potato here, and you're going to see where all your eyes are. Okay. This is most likely where the plant was. And I've got an eye here, I've got an eye here, I've got an eye here, and 2 eyes right next to each other, and something developing right here. So it looks like all of my eyes are in one location. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut I'm going to cut this in half, but I'm going to cut it kind of like at an angle because I don't want to cut any of the eyes. Oh, that looks like an eye that may be starting right there. So I'm going to pan you guys down real quick. I'm going to cut it, let's see, like, I'm going to leave these 2 eyes here. I'm going to leave this eye and these 2 eyes since they're so close together. So we're going to cut like that. So it's basically in half. So I've got these 2 eyes right here. This eye doesn't look as good as that one. So now I'm just going to put it down into my tray. Oops, sorry guys. I'm going to put it down into my tray like that, and we're going to let it scab over. So on this half, we've got these 2 eyes really, really close, and then we've got this one over here. So let's do this. Since we have 2 eyes so close, let's go ahead and give this one another cut. And you don't have to. I'm just showing you that's what we could do here. We could leave it whole like that and have multiple plants coming up from this, or we could have that eye separate, and that's more than 2 ounces of potato. And then we've got these 2 eyes over here, plus another little eye right there. So now we're just going to put that aside as well. So I'll show you guys on another potato. This potato, the eyes are smaller, but they're more scattered about. So we're looking at it, and I'm going to see my best options here. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it right there. And that sounded like a transformer blowing. So I wonder if I have electricity in the house. Okay. So we've got eyes right there. We've got 1, 2, 3, but they're very, 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 very small. We're going to put them in our tray and let them scab over. So why am I letting this scab over? Why not just plant this now? Well, you want the surface that I cut to be hardened, because if not, it could actually rot out. Maybe bugs could eat it. So you want to make it to where it's not going to get a fungus or a virus or something like that from the soil. So we let it harden over. That way, it's got a better chance of survival in the soil. So we have several eyes on this one. We've got eyes right here. Very, very small. This one's very, very small. And I'm going to show you guys one more. Maybe one with better eyes. Ah, this is a nice one. Okay, this is a nice one. We've got a nice eye developed there. We've got another one developed there. Oh, one there. Very, very nice one. This is probably a candidate. We're going to cut into 3. So let's do that real quick. So we'll make the first cut. That's nice. So in this one, we have that eye right there. We've got this eye right here. And then we've got some little bitty eyes starting over here and over here. This was a very good potato to cut in 3. All right, so we have the second one over here. And all right, and there we go. We've got eyes, but a big one, a small one, and another small one right there. Okay, so here's this last one. We've got an eye there, a really nice eye there, and some eyes developing right here and right here. And we put it over. Now I'm going to keep cutting these up until I finish all 20 pounds of potatoes. I have finished cutting up all 20 pounds of my seed potatoes. Now, you can probably grow potatoes from the grocery store, but do not be surprised if they don't fully sprout, because potatoes are sometimes sprayed with something to keep them from growing eyes and sprouting. So just going to the store and buying a bag of potatoes, they may or may not sprout on you. And I know that some of you, and myself included, have had experiences where we've left a bag in the pantry too long and they got little roots growing everywhere and they look kind of like aliens. Yes, those would probably grow for you, but the majority of the time, I do believe that they spray the potatoes so that they don't sprout, because seeing eyes like this, some people may find that unattractive and throw it away. So that's my kind of word of warning. You really do want to go for seed potatoes. After you get your seed potatoes, you can save back for the next year and replant those again. So basically what we're going to do now is we're going to put these potatoes into the trays. I've got 4 trays here, and we're going to let them sit in this nice warm greenhouse for the next week or so. I'd like to say that I was planting potatoes in the next 3 days, but with all the rain that we have coming in, I highly doubt that's going to happen. So now it's time to get some tomato seeds into some soil. But first I wanted to show you guys something. You see this bag right here? It is a gallon-sized bag. It's not even filled up all the way full. This bag right here, this is the seeds that are going into the main area of my garden. Now the main area of my garden is 93 by 87. That does not include my flower and herb area, and it does not include the area right outside this greenhouse right here, which is just full of grass right now. And honestly, I'm debating whether or not I should go ahead and buy like 3 to 6 sweet potato plants to put out there and then cover it with hay. I really want it's been a couple years since I grew sweet potatoes and really craving some sweet potatoes, so y'all let me know if you think I should go ahead and do that. My son's gonna flip because he's the one that helps puts the hay out. So anyway, how did I come up with this is the amount of seeds that I'm gonna need for my garden? Well, every year, and I did a video last year about garden planning, and I'll link it above so you can see, but every year I do something like this. This is my garden map. I do have a CAD program that I use for work, and so I did my garden on here. Why did I choose to do it in a computer program? Well, number one, I had the program. It was available to me. Might as well use it. Number two, if you've been watching any of my videos for a while, you know that I don't make straight lines very well. I just don't. I can't do it to save my life. Now, you don't have to use a fancy program. You can just take this with an old-fashioned ruler and draw your straight lines, and know the plants that you're planting. Know the recommended seed or recommended plant spacing, and then you can do the map from there. So my map basically tells me how many plants I need of each thing. Like, for example, I know that I need 105 tomato plants to fit this garden. Also, I wanted to add one quick note. By doing this garden plan, I realized that I have room for watermelons. I haven't had watermelons in my garden for about 5 years. So I did the map, and I know all the plants that I need to plant, and I'm going to go ahead and get those seeds started. So I highly recommend that you do some sort of map to give you an idea, so you know how many seeds you need to purchase.